What's up, everyone? Today I want to talk about the butterfly effect and the power of your influence. I was reading this book called Creativity Inc. It's a book by the founder of Pixar, and it's an incredible book. And one thing he talks about in the book is, and this is after Pixar has become a success as a company. And if you guys don't know what Pixar is, it's the company that's now being acquired by Disney that has created some of the most iconic animated films of all time and still creates a lot of animated films that are, you know, amazing. From Ratatouille to Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 to The Incredibles to Wreck-It Ralph, to Cars 2, and all of these films are talked about in this book, and it's an incredible story. And you actually see things that are just so surprising because you think that these films were easily made or everything was, fine and dandy, but in reality, all these things were a huge mess. Like, they thought it wouldn't go through. They didn't like the story. Most of them almost like didn't make it through, and it was a crazy journey. So, why do I want to talk about the power of potential and influence? Well, in the book, at one point, pretty deep into the book, after Pixar has already become a success, the author starts talking about Pixar kids. And Pixar had become a success to the point where there were many, many couples who had met at Pixar, had kids at Pixar, and would every day drop their kids off at the Pixar daycare. And he was observing this and he was just so amazed by it because he realized that there's so many small, tiny things in his life and in other in some of the top executives' lives that if they didn't come together, those kids would not exist. Those parents would not have met. And he brings up a few really small things the like this one instance in his life as a child where he almost died and a car almost hit him. And if that car had pushed 2 inches further, he and his family would have fallen off a cliff. Luckily, that didn't happen, and Pixar is what it is today. Then there are other moments, like if Steve Jobs had not come on board, if he had quit in the numerous times he had considered quitting Pixar, and on and on and on. And I just find that incredible. Another great one is another great one he brings up is the fact that if Walt Disney did not exist or choose to pursue his passion, Disney would not be what it is, and Disney would not have inspired him to pursue art. And if that didn't happen, then those Pixar kids would not have been created. And then another one is the fact that if he had not been so bad at if he wasn't so bad at art to the point where he couldn't make it as a artist and he couldn't get into any post-grad art school, if he was good enough, he would have gotten into that art school and probably not have pursued animation and the computer side to art and feature films like he did, and Pixar would not be in existence, and those employees would have never met, and those kids would not have been in existence. So I really do think that the ripple effects of what you do may go on far beyond what you can imagine. Now, perhaps you don't have that level of influence like Walt Disney or this man, and you can create these enormous companies. But again, small things, even when you trace it back to these men, there is small things in their lives that could have pushed them in entirely different directions. So what is that for you? Perhaps that's the stranger you see at the grocery store, and just by you smiling at him or maybe talking to him and brightening that person's day, it completely changes the direction and maybe a small decision he makes during that day, which can lead to a larger decision or a larger life change. Perhaps it's just staying after school every day helping someone out. Maybe your student, maybe a classmate, even though you don't have to. And that inspires that person and motivates that person to keep going. And from then on, for the rest of that person's life, they're inspired because of you, and they take that with them, and they go on to impact millions of people. And even if that person only impacts hundreds of people, and I say that in quotes because only is just so stupid, because that's still hundreds of people, maybe that next generation of people can impact even more people. And it just branches on infinitely. So you never know what could occur with the influences you're making. And it also makes you wonder about dating and marriage, because it really kind of proves that this whole story kind of supports the fact that there is no soulmate or one person that's right for you. A number of seemingly random factors can push you or prod you in one direction or another. Maybe one small thing that by chance happened or didn't happen either triggered or did not trigger the eventual creation of an enormous company. And because of that small thing, maybe you didn't stumble into this person. You stumbled into another person instead, which pretty much means that there's a lot of different people that you will be compatible with out there, which you guys probably already know. Anyhow, thanks for watching. As always, like and subscribe. Peace.